come up for you? Not there.
Nothing's appeared.
Oh. Oh, hang on, I might know why. Let me be smart. Party audio, there you go. That would help.
There we go. Yeah, that'll help.
That'll do it.
Right. You ready then?
I am ready.
Right. 3, 2, 1. Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to GRL. It's round 19 once again, and we are here at Imola for what is one of the last races of the season. Of course, after this race, we've only got a few more to go. My name is Darren, joined, as I have been last couple of weeks ago, by Mr. Ashley Silent Thief. How are you, Ashley?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well tonight, thank you, Stara. I was the lead man last week. It was a new experience, a weird experience, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. But I'm glad you're back.
Yeah, I was watching dart, so I can only apologise. But I was a long way away from my television screen, but everyone else watched the Qatar Grand Prix, as that was an important in the championship, of course. Not good results for either of the top two in the championship, Snipes or B4, but good in the end for Welsh Jack, who came out as the victor, but he is 65 points off lead with 4 rounds to go. Of course, those 4 rounds are here in Imola, Miami next week, and then Abu Dhabi and Brazil. So it's going to be interesting to see who can try and pull in front in the championship with not long left to go. But of course, we are racing around this Imola circuit. First Grand Prix back in 1980. It's one of the F1 classics, isn't it? 32 laps, 50% race. And 4.9 kilometres. It's not necessarily a track that's good for overtaking. And any div race that we've had here has been held in wet conditions. But as you can see now, qualifying is dry. Let's get that changed. I forgot about that. Let's put that one on. There we go. And yeah, actually, first that's about to be set. We've got a smaller than normal grid, but strategy is always important here, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is going to be important here this evening. Like you say, it's one of the older circuits. It's actually, if you want the year it was built in 1953 was when it first opened. So it's a classic in that sense as well. It's very narrow, tight circuits, so it can be very difficult to overtake. You've only got the one straight with that DRS zone to give people the opportunity to get that overtake done. So yeah, strategy definitely more important around here than some of the other circuits. That's a McLaren going off in the back, I just noticed there, through the Tamburello corner. It was Gibson. He's in the wall backwards. He spun it round. He's got back going once again, but that was not where he wanted to get his qualifying off to a start. He hasn't set a representative time yet, but that was interesting to see just then. So, but I'll continue on anyway. It's a bit of action as we go around while we're trying to get underway here. But yeah, like you say, the first event back from 1980, and that was to take over from Monza for that year after renovations were being made. But to get back to your original point, you're right. Tyre strategy is important. It's not the easiest to overtake round here. Have you got the sort of any idea on strategy, Dara? That's the one thing I haven't actually got with me, as Welsh Jack there sets the fastest time, 1:13.
I would have presumed it's medium, hard, medium, as is most tracks. It won't be it won't be a two-stop because this is a very, very long pit lane. Someone might try and soft medium or a soft hard, but no one's going to go soft hard. They'll either go soft medium or medium hard, I reckon. Around here, it's been a while since I've done the Imola race, to be fair, so can't necessarily remember.
Oh, there's a big action there. That's the McLaren of Gibson again, and Nando in the Aston Martin as they've come together, and the Aston Martin's out. Damage to the car, wheels are gone missing. And that's his qualifying done. Gibson, luckily enough to be unscathed. I don't quite know what went on. I just saw it from the onboard of FRT Dan. He did manage to finish his lap, but well, that's one driver out. We've had one of the Alfa Romeos. I think they've got potentially a qualifying ban, but I don't quite know how that happened. But once again, Gibson was facing the wrong way, and I think maybe Nando wasn't expecting it and collided with him, and he suffered the brunt of that as well.
Yeah, I didn't see it personally, but yeah, that's not good for Nardo, sorry. But also, Gibson's got that 5-place grid penalty, so unless he improves significantly, he'll likely be starting right at the back as well. Sora's gone P8, 14.7, not necessarily the best I think we'll see him do. B Ford currently up in P6, his championship rival and the championship leader, Snipes, is coming around. Always invalidated at that time at Variante Alta. So that's that one ruined. He won't be going again. Gibson looks like he's improving on this lap. He's going around again on these soft tyres. So this is a banker that has taken a little bit of a while to come to fruition, but he is improving by 6 seconds. But he needs quite a bit more than that because he is currently 12 seconds off the pace.
It's a shame for Snipes there. I was riding on board of him just before he invalidated. He was actually purple in the middle sector, so chances are he can get, if he can get the lap together, he should be up amongst them, really, the top runners here this evening. And I as a, as championship leader, you kind of expect him to be up there as well. I think Alpine pretty much have this constructors wrapped up, but the drivers is still very much under sort of battle. Is he riding an Ayrton Senna themed helmet design there this evening, Snipes? Just still on board with him here. He's got a lovely yellow with a green stripe. I wonder if it's a bit of a tribute to one of the late greats who was unfortunately taken at this circuit.
It could be, but at the same time, I like yellow and green, so I'd always run a helmet that looks pretty much exactly like that.
Okay.
So it could be, and actually, I don't know. It'd be a cool little thing if he had, but we'll have to wait and see. Seeing him reminds me actually that there is Snipes is going to go for the championship in one of our partner GRL partner BBC tomorrow. The next season starts tomorrow. There's quite a few of the guys that have been here in GRL that are over there at the moment. The likes of FTD Treat and Snipes, just to name a couple, are over there. We've had a few more as well. Flatbus has been in Div 2. He's going to be there. I just thought of that because I saw his name. But anyway, he's currently P11. I think he is going again because he's got a full battery. And he is not slowing down through the first umbrella chicane, absolutely flying through there. Fantastic line. I couldn't do that on the pad, that's for sure. Into the Villeneuve chicane, flick to the left, flick to the right, and keep the rear end intact. And he's done that exceptionally well. Snipes into Tosa, rising up the hill ever so slightly as you join the exit curb and past that Alpha Tauri of, that'll be SLR Sam on the up towards Piratella, one of my favourite corners in Formula One. It's just a flick left by the exit curve, dive back down the hill for Minerali, the double right-hander. Get your nose into the first bit and into the second bit. The rear end has to stick. It can be a little bit tricky. You can spin around, but Snipes done that very well into the middle sector. 6.6 seconds up into Variante Alta. Want to chop off as much of this chicane as you can, and he's done a relatively good job through there as he will now ride down towards the final two Rabatza corners. This low bridge almost looks like it's on the track at Variante Alta, but you just dip below it as you come into Rabatza 1 and then ride that exit curve for Rabatza 2, flick the car and get a good exit. You need a good exit in the race because you'll see some moves down into turn 1, open up that DRS for the short run to the line, and Snipes P4 14.2 is that time.
That's a fantastic time. I was taken back by that, Dara. That really, your commentary there was absolutely fantastic. Riding on board with Snipes as well, listening to you, I was blown away almost. But interestingly enough, for Snipes, you're welcome. I was going to say, interestingly for Snipes, that's on a scrub set. Really, when you think about it, that wasn't his first flying run on these soft tyres. So you've got to think there's definitely time still in the lap for him. As I think, is that B4 that's jumped up to currently now? He's P2. He's just put in a good lap there, and that's enough for the first row of the grid on the opposite side. But B4, one of the other championship leaders here, trying to eke out a gap over Snipes, and he managed to get a little bit of traction last time around, but it was a bit of a thrown away opportunity last week at Qatar. He was looking up really for a podium, but late weather dramas changed all of that. But you're not here to listen to me waffle on about last week. You're here to listen to us talk about this week, and this week we will continue to talk about... I'm still riding on board here with Snipes. I don't know where I was going with that either. I just sort of kept going. The waffle kept coming out.
We've all done
I was like, you know what?
I'm going to
stick with it. You know what, then we'll ride on board here with FRT Dan. He's currently on a lap, and he's currently in 7th position for qualifying as it stands, following one of the Alpha Tauris. As I just saw SLR Sam set a good lap. He's now nipping at the heels of Welsh Jack, and I think that provisional pole lap there is actually a pretty good benchmark, don't you, Dara?
Very good. Absolutely incredible benchmark. 13.8. Silly time. B Pearl reverse will be proud of that time. That's how quick that is, quite frankly. Let's see. Is anybody else on lap at all? FRT Dan very well could be. No one else will be. Well, definitely not ahead of him because there is nobody ahead of him through the final two corners. That's one we're about to two. I'll exit the final corner onto the line. This does look like he might be improving. What's it going to be? The times are very tight. He slots into P3. That's a 1:14 dead. I love a dead time. They're so satisfying.
They are great to look at, aren't they? It's just all the little
You don't get
zeros
them
lining
very
up.
often, but they look great.
No, you don't get them very often. No, you're quite right there, Dara. But no, they do look fantastic. Do you know what? I'm going to talk about. You know, we were talking about the pit lane earlier. I'll throw in a little fact here while we wait for them to sort of ready up for their final flying runs here of the quali session. The pit lane is 528 metres long, and it's one of the longest used on the calendar. There you go. How about that?
Because it's ridiculous. They just carry on, don't they?
It does.
It's stupid time.
It goes.
Why? What's the point?
I don't know. It goes on forever.
It just keeps going and going. It is annoying that it does ruin it. My dad, for years, has gone on about how everyone could try and shorten pit lanes to improve the racing, because then it would encourage more pit stops. So you lose less time.
Maybe your dad's onto something.
He cut off like 7-8 seconds if you just go fast on that end bit.
Yeah.
But then again, because the pit wall is because the wall is so long, I can't just cut off the wall.
Oh, you could.
Because when they have endurance races, they need the full pit lane. It's just annoying.
Oh, I see. But, that makes sense there then.
I think that's how it's done anyway. But yeah, it is just a bit irritating, isn't it? But they could try and cut a little bit more like France. You know how you now cut the final corner instead of coming off after the final corner?
Yeah, exactly.
That saves you some time.
It does, but
saves you a good 5 seconds.
They had to do that through safety reasons, though, because coming in straight off of the racing track into a pit lane and going from, all sorts of speeds to literally, travelling down the shops, down the busy high street.
That's the pit exit. That's the pit exit.
No, that was the pit entry too. Do you not remember? You literally darted in off the main straight down in France, and then
going fast.
It's like you whipped into Waitrose in your little, I don't know, little Ford KA. Much, going along.
Ford Fiesta.
Ford Fiesta. I'm so sorry.
Fiesta.
I can't believe I got it wrong.
No, there is a Ford KA, but you got to use a Ford Fiesta for this example.
Oh yeah, and you've just and do you own one then, Dara? You've just passed your test.
I do.
Well done.
I do. I'm on the insurance.
You're on the insurance. Oh, there you go then. So you're whipping down to. You're not okay. Well, you're whipping down to Waitrose anyway. Maybe your dad's in the
drop. Down to Screwfix today. I picked up a bracket for my dad, and then I went to Greg's to get us a sausage roll. That was my day.
Oh, you've had a fantastic day.
Yeah, I've had a great day. I mean, nobody cares, but I've had a great. Sora, that is not legal. Or Sora just done. And he might pick up a collie band for that.
Well, you know what?
I've had many qualiband this season.
He has. I've been riding on board here with Torpedo. He's just set the fastest lap. There it is. 1:13.846. It was looking tidy the whole way round. And instead of me talking about it, you've been listening to us waffle on about nipping down to the shops and going to Greg's. But anyway, Torbin's had his Weetabix this morning, if we'll keep the food analogies going. And he's managed to put in an absolute banging lap there. And he's taken provisional pole for the time being.
E546. Sorry, that's the advert, isn't it? Anyway, Torpedo's gone fastest. Michael Daly's on an outlap, but yeah, that's it. We're waiting for these final runs. When you have less drivers in the session, you do get this more often, where you just have a bit of a lull.
Unfortunately,
when you're waiting for these final runs, but they'll start soon and they'll start in earnest. But we have to wait a little bit for them to get around. But either way, they've got time. They can just plod around. Nice Monday evening drive.
Yeah, I'll tell you
what, the radio on.
I'll throw another fact to you then while we wait. So you said the very first Grand Prix was held here in 1980, and officially you are correct. However, the actual very first Formula One race held here at the Emilia Romagna. Yeah, that old name. It was actually held in 1963, and it was a non-championship round, but it was won on that evening by Jim Clark. That's how far back you have to go to get the actual first race here at Imola.
To be fair, I said 1980 because that was the fact that I got given by Atom. So
and you're not wrong.
Blame Atom for that one.
No, but you're not wrong.
Yeah, to be fair. You know,
You are
also just blame
correct.
Atom anyway. We love Atom. Just blame him. Just throw him off. You never know. Um,
I like to go deeper
yeah,
on
there
my
weren't many corners back
research.
then either, were there? Because of course they added the chicane at Tamburello
Yep.
and Villeneuve and Variante Alta.
Yeah, it
Apart
was a
from that,
lot
the second
quicker back
arrangement
then,
largely
and
unchanged.
yeah, but there has been lots of safety issues. I'm riding on board here with Welsh Jack, but lots of changes have been made. That one of the chicanes they've actually removed, but they've kept it for MotoGP, is the chicane down the start-finish straight. So for F1 they'll have it. They'll have it removed, but for if you have MotoGP here, they'll put it back in, and that's the circuit I used to remember driving back on the F1 2013 games. Is the little chicane before you get on, I guess, to the straight, just after the Ravazza complex. But enough of track talk. Let's talk other track talk, and we're talking about Welsh Jack in the Alpine on his final flying run now, making his way down towards Aqua Minerali. This is one of my favourite corners, Dara. I know you mentioned yours earlier. This is actually one of mine, but now making his way on the rise up to the highest point of the circuit, and that is, it's the Variante Alta. As you can tell, I haven't learned the names of the corners just yet. I looked at them on a picture earlier on, so I'm still learning as we go. Under the tunnel, the track dives back down. Very tricky corner, this left-hander. You can easily lock a wheel on the brakes as you've got that downward momentum of gravity assisting you to go forward in a quicker straight. But never mind, it's a 1:13.5, and that definitely puts Jack back into the provisional pole position slot. What a time that is. That's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, that very much is going to be hard to beat. Jacobs finished the session. He's going to be P10 at best. But we look at Sam, who doesn't improve, I don't think, in the end. Then it's going to be B4. This is important for the championship contender. He jumps up into P3.
Here comes down. He's improving.
Torpedo. Yeah. Oh,
it's not enough, though.
He invalidated.
Oh, no.
He invalidated. That's why he invalidated at the end of the lap. Atom's not improving through the middle section. If he finds anything, it won't be very much at all. And in the end, he's down on the time. That just leaves a couple more drivers. Sora and Snipes to go. Snipes invalidated, so he's going to start P9. No, but he's invalidated.
Oh, he's invalidated.
So, yeah, Sora's the last one on the lap. He's only got to find 7 thousandths to jump ahead of Atom and go
he's done
P6
it.
ahead of Michael Dale as well. But B Ford, 6th place ahead of Snipes here.
That's crucial. Especially round here, that is crucial for him, and he'll be very happy with that indeed. As you said earlier, I think it's going to come down to tyre strategy this evening. So we're hoping we're going to see a lot of overtaking here tonight, Dara. I really hope we do, but it's all going to be, I think, down to managing your tyres or pitting on to the right ones at the right time to get the advantage over the other competitors. But B4 definitely in a much better position than Snipes, and you got to think about Snipes there down in 9th. He's right in the thick of it.
Yeah, great TV show that, by the way. Thick of it. But anyway, yeah. Silent Sleep on pole. What am I talking about? It's Welsh Jack on. Yes, so sorry. It's Welsh Jack on pole. That is for sure. And he's on pole by a quarter of a second. Torpedo P2, B4 P3. Sam and Dan 4 and 5. That rhymes nicely. Sora, Michael Dale, Aston, Snipes, and Jacob in the top 10. Gibson will start last with that 5-place grid drop. Elter and Nardo, no lap time set, but they will start 11th and 12th here. We'll have a few minutes before we get going, but I don't really want to call this one. This could go our way, I think, today.
I will add with Nardo there. It wasn't his fault he didn't set a lap. It was a collision with Gibson that caused it, and unfortunately Nardo being the victim, I guess, by not being able to continue on. But I don't know who caused the actual accident or incident itself. But yeah, no lap time set either way. Go on then, Darrett. You normally put me on the spot, but I'm going to put you on the spot. Who do you think's going to win tonight?
Welsh Jack.
Welsh Jack. I tell you what, then I'll give it the statistic way of doing it. Do you want to know why I've managed to? I'll give you the stats. You're normally the stat man. I'm taking your job.
I am, but I am willing to hear this.
Right. So you've had 10 drivers win from first place on the starting grid with a 33.33% out of 100. 9 drivers have won from second place, so it gives you a 30% chance. 6 drivers have won from third, that gives you 20% chance. 3 drivers have won from fourth, that gives you 10%. And 2 drivers have won from fifth position on the grid. That's 6.67% there, Dara. So you got to say, percentage-wise, the guy on the front of the grid's got the best chance. But equally, I'd say the top 3 have a good shot at it.
Yeah, they will do, really, don't they? It should be an interesting one, definitely. We will have to wait and see who indeed comes out on top. No one in the Williams, because you can see Alexander Albon and Logan Sargent's name up there. So no one in that car, but someone's going to cry about that one, are they, particularly? It's not going to ruin my day. Um,
You know what? It's not going to ruin mine
before
either,
my,
Dara. I think I'm okay with that.
yeah. Yeah.
I'll give you
I,
from real life statistics. These numbers that I just gave you are from, but also I've got the safety car possibility from real life. Chances for a safety
ooh,
car here from way back in 1993 up to present day, 29%. So it's not that high. And with less drivers on the grid, I'd say there's even less of a chance for one to happen. But it is sim racing, it's not real life, so you might see some more drivers try and take opportunities that a real life driver would not, as they want to keep themselves going rather than risk it all and potentially have a catastrophic failure. But yeah, it's definitely going to, open it up to some interesting things tonight. I think Imola's known for its high highs and its low lows. Unfortunately, we look back on that day in 1994 where we lost two lives. Unfortunately, that day, and one of the greats of all time as well. So that will always fondly be remembered here. Not fondly, that's the wrong word to use, but that will always be remembered here for this Grand Prix. But there are other highs to remember the Imola circuit for. We do have the 2005 Schumacher versus Alonso, and Schumacher chasing him down in the closing stages of that Grand Prix, but he kept his cool, and Alonso managed to win out on that day. But with other highlights or lowlights, if you want to call it that, you had Russell and Bottas colliding together in 2021, and what a spectacular crash it was. And luckily, both of those guys walked away as well. But yeah, I'm curious how this
yeah,
is going to go and play out.
Russell was a fan of Bottas, wasn't he, after that incident?
Oh, they were best buds.
They were best buds. He went over and hit him on the helmet. But yeah.
Here we go.
Anyway, hopefully we won't see the same with that. There's no formation up, so a bit of a skewed start for some of these drivers, but the Firebird lights are on for 32 laps of the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. There we go. Got it out. The lights are out, and we are away. B4's got a good start on the back of Wells Jack. Torpedo is probably going to be side by side, though, as they head down towards the first corner. Can the Red Bull sweep around the outside? I don't think he can, but B4 will be trying to defend that. P3 from the AlphaTauri of SLR Sam. They've all made their way through the Tamboro chicane on this opening lap, but Wells Jack still leads ahead of the rest of the field. On the tyres, everyone except for Atom and Snipes are on the hards. So they're pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? Pretty, pretty, not standard. Ooh,
Dara,
my
I don't
brain
know what
freeze.
word you're looking for. All I know is I'm looking at Snipes and he's on the medium tyre. You'd think he'd have the better grip, the better traction at the start of this Grand Prix, but he's made his way backwards, if anything. Nardo, having a pretty good start. He's up to 10th, but Snipes down into P12 as it currently stands. But he's looking to potentially make a move and take P11 back from Delta, as he has done, into the chicane at the top of the hill there. So he's managed to make one position back up, but it's not a great start for Snipes there in the Alpine.
Yeah, absolutely not. But I still can't think of that word I was thinking of. But anyway, well, Jack still leads. Torpedo P2 and B Ford in P3. Sam, Michael, Dale and Dan will follow in tow, and they're all in the train. It's going to take quite a bit, I think, to break this train over the course. So we might just see it coming down to strategy in the end.
You say it's going to take a lot. I'm watching Nardo go past Jacob there for P9. He gets the move done quite easily, actually, and this is all without DRS, as I think Jacob actually got it back there, but now Snipes is going side by side with them, and I think he's actually backed out of that one quite sensibly through the next set of chicanes before we get to the hairpin here of turn 7. Dara, I can't remember all the corners, so you're going to have to help me with them.
Tosa, that's Tosa, that one.
Thank you.
That would come through. But yeah, Snipes, Nardo had a big snap through the middle of the Tambolo chicane, and then Snipes got to come around the outside, and there was just no room at the inn for that one. And he had to slip back down to P11, or couldn't gain up to P10, I should say, in the end. Delta at the back, but further up the front, Welsh Jacks does still lead the train, I think. Will be here for a while. Aston will be hoping to get through on Sora relatively soon. Got to get through and up into P7 ahead of Sora.
He's going for it now.
A championship contender last season. Yeah, difficult around the outside of Ratso on. You've got to have a massive tyre advantage to make that one stick. And wasn't quite able to do it this time around. A couple of drivers close to the driver in front, but at the moment, you're looking at a couple of the guys, the likes of Snipes and Nardo. Nardo definitely going for FD Jacob here. He's not even using an ER. He has a much better straight line speed car than the Alpha Tauri. And Snipes going to watch this one unfold. Down into turn one, Nardo squeezes the Alpha Tauri out, and he's back in front and up into P9 once again. But there is some good fighting, and the break in the train might be here between Atom and Nardo.
Yeah, that was a carbon copy of what happened at the beginning of lap 2 last time around, but this time Nardo able to keep the car on the circuit and maintain that position. I think looking at it, he could be one to watch here in this race trim. He's got a quick straight line speed car, so that DRS is not going to be as effective against him. But equally, if he can't then get up to the guys ahead of him in their sort of DRS train, he could be a bit of a cork in the bottle for the guys at the back. Delta picking up the first one, picking up a 3-second time penalty. But yeah, Nardo, if he can catch up then to Atom and get onto the back of that train, which it looks as though he might do here, I think the guys behind, and crucially then, that means Snipes is going to have a real tough day of it.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to have a particularly tough day of it. I think Snipes just wanted to be further up the grid and have an easier day, probably go onto the hards, go with a formative strategy. Delta's coming into the pit lane. But him out, is it? Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know why particularly, but did he have wing damage there?
I didn't actually
Didn't look like it. Oh, was Michael Dale. Oh, Michael Dale, sorry, got very close to the back of Sam. Nearly went for the move there. Beeford as well, close to the back of Torpedo. And there are moves looking like they're brewing up and down the field. They're very close together, I think. It's unlikely that we're going to get a safety car. So this race will be really won and lost on the strategy towards the end. So got to keep that one in mind. DRS so powerful here. How is the management going? Well, Shaq, 73%. Beeford, full tank, but Torpedo only has 21% now. Beeford is renowned for not using that ERS, but then not using it when he should. He's got a full battery now. He might as well go down to about 80, and he can regain it during the lap. I think if he uses the ERS down this straight towards turn 1, he's going to get P2, and Torpedo doesn't have an answer to it.
No, I don't think he would have an answer to it. We know he doesn't have an answer to it. You just told us the battery levels as we just watched Delta's car retire on track. I thought that was rather odd, but nonetheless, we now start down the start-finish straight. Is Beeford going to use some of that battery? DRS is definitely going to be in operation, but Torpedo will have it to defend. So it is going to be down to who's got a less draggy car overall, but oh my god, I've lost my words, Tara. I can't get them out. There's a little bit of action there. FRT down makes a move up the inside of Michael Dale, and then Sora is able to capitalise on that as well. And I think Michael Dale has lost a couple of positions in about 2-3 corners.
Atom tried to come up the inside as well, down towards Spielner, but wasn't able to find any room up there in the end. It'll be interesting to see when Atom and Snipes hit how good their undercut can be. On the front guys, because with them being less than 5 seconds off the lead, within a couple of laps you'd have thought they're going to be in a net P1 and 2. So that's definitely going to be an interesting one that we're going to have to watch out for. Michael Dale, big swapper on the exit of Aqua Minerale. Sora's got to gain a little bit onto the back of Dan, otherwise he's out of the DRS, I should say. In this race, and he can't afford that. Bit of a snap on Variante Alta exit as well, and he's using that overtake to try and get back inside. Willie, I don't think he has actually, because the detection point is further back, and I think Sora's going to be under a bit of pressure here.
Yeah, I think he could be. Nardo, I've noticed, has actually caught way up to the back of Atom. I think that fighting up ahead has actually helped him out a little bit, but look at the straight line speed on it. Even with the DRS open for Atom, Nardo still gaining on that Mercedes. Is he going to gain enough though into the first corner, or technically the second corner? I don't think he's going to. Who's that round? Who was that? That was Sora spinning round through Tamburello, and he's retired on track as well. I think that's a slam dunk penalty then for Sora, isn't it? Car's still going.
Yeah, exactly. There's a retirement on track rather than him actually having crashed. So that is likely to be a penalty for him. And not exactly what he would have been wanting, but it's his own fault for retiring on the track. Although he did you would say he did spin around, so he may not be overly pleased with that. But either way, we'll see what the stewards say about that one. Nardo 3-second penalty as well. But there are now a couple of trains swimming, the top 5 and then the next 6 at the moment.
that's Torpedo picking up a penalty. That is crucial for his fight there for the podium. Being that it is 3 seconds. What's 3 seconds looking like? 3 seconds, it looks like you would drop to about 8th place if they finished with the gaps that they are currently looking at right now. So highly doubt that will be the case come the end of the Grand Prix. We're only 7 laps in. But that's big for Torpedo there in P2. But look at B Ford. He's less than a few tenths behind. Is he going to go for the move? He's going around the outside then of the Tamburello chicane. Has the inside for the second part. And he's got the move done. What a fantastic move. Is Torpedo potentially going to come back at him through, what is it, Villeneuve you called it? That's the one. No, I think B Ford has managed to cement the place, so he's moved up into P2, and he's going to look to try and get back at Welsh Jack and get that gap under a second so that he can stick in his DRS.
But Welsh Jack as well knows that this is his chance to try and make a gap to the rest of the field. If he can pull the 1 second and they continue to fight behind him, he will start gaining away from everybody else and build up a couple of seconds of an advantage. B Ford knows he cannot afford to let that happen. SLR Sam now with a 3-second time penalty. So if they're accruing, it could be a case of you may finish P7, P8 on the track. And if you've not got a penalty, you could find yourself on the podium. But Nardo with another 3 seconds. Second 3 second already, I think it is. It's his third.
It's his third,
3-second time penalty. It's only lap 7 of this race, but he is already completely out of it. And you'd say that he's risking getting disqualified at this rate if he carries on the way he is. But Welsh Jack leads. B Ford is in that DRS. And he's recovered nicely, but Michael Dale has got that difficult task of that second train to get through. Unless it could be Atom, because Atom looks fast. Atom's going to get past, there's no question about it. Goodbye, Mr. Michael Dale.
Yeah, it's a shame for Michael Day. He looked as though he had a strong start to this Grand Prix, and he's just found himself dropping further and further back. And I think it kind of shows with the likes of Atom actually getting past. I'm not sure in the whole season what pace has been like for these drivers, but from what I have seen, I feel like Michael Dale should have the pace advantage over Atom. But again, circuit to circuit, things change. Everyone has their favourites and their, least favourites on the calendar. So, there's no guarantee who's going to be quicker than the other guy, but you get a good idea. So I think Michael Dale is going to be very disappointed with that. I will say that Atom is on the softer compounder tyre. Just trying to think, when would they roughly switch over the, when will the hard sort of take over from the medium, or have we already got to that point, do you think?
I reckon we're close to it, but Atom is going to be in that DRS now, that front train. So he's been able to work his magic, but he has used some of the ERS to do so. But he is in that DRS window. So he's done what he needed to do so far. And we're back to a train of 11, all 11 drivers in the train. As B Ford now actually might go for the lead here. Yeah, he's got the DRS open, doesn't actually have to use any ERS, and he's taken the lead around the outside. Welsh Jack also a little bit deep into turn 1. Oh, very deep through turn 2. Here comes Torpedo around the outside. He's made the move on Welsh Jack. The mistake from the Alpine driver has let through the Red Bull. And now it's B Ford's chance to try and somehow, in the space of a sector, he's gone from being P2 to possibly being able to scamper away in the lead.
Oh, that's exactly what he's hoping for. And I tell you what, looking at it right now, his weekend's going from good to great, because this is what he needs to take that championship fight to Snipes. Snipes currently sitting down there in P10. No penalties picked up though, and he has got the chance to, pit earlier than these guys on the hard. So don't rule Snipes out of this Grand Prix just yet. But B Ford is doing everything he needs to do to keep this championship fight going his way. And, it's currently going perfect for him, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, there's not much more he could be doing here to be improving his position. The fact that Torpedo's in second helps because he's got a 3-second time penalty. That's a bit of a buffer either way, because even if Torpedo gets past him, he'll get him back on the penalties. But looking at pit stops for these guys, I'd say probably around mid-race. They can go long enough on the hard, or on the mediums, I should say, to probably pit around lap 16, lap 17. And it'll be a little bit early, if not the same, for the medium tyres. But I think if I'm Atom or Snipes, I'm going to try and get the undercut, because it's the only way that you're really going to gain too many positions here.
Whoa!
Oh,
and there goes...
That's Nardo.
He's off at Tamburello.
I just saw him disappear. He's got no front wing. That's going to be practically him out of the race. Michael Dale's got a 3-second time penalty now. But yeah, that's Nardo effectively gone, and we're effectively down to 10 drivers in this race.
Well, I was just watching Michael Dale on board because Nardo actually got past him down the start-finish straight, and I was thinking, oh no, he's lost another place. Things can't get much worse for the Ferrari driver, but then Nardo steamed off into Tamburello and completely lost his front wing now. So yeah, like you say, I think that's his race pretty much done and dusted. But Michael Dale then still able to hang on to 7th just, but I think that's purely just through circumstance. But ultimately, just notice, Snipes has managed to pick off Jacob and has actually found his way up into P8 thanks to Nardo spinning off the track as well. So he's slowly then making his way up the leaderboard, keeping calm, keeping himself collected, and the guys ahead of him with 3-second time penalties. So actually, I think when you look at it, if Snipes keeps his nose clean, like you say, I think by the end of this race he could see himself as a podium sitter.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. I would say, well, Jack and Sam have both got past the Red Bulls, respectively, on their way through. Snipes as well gets close, but not quite close enough to Michael Dale. Nardo in the pit lane will pick with the damage. We'll get a new front wing and new tyres on that car. Yeah, a couple of moves there. Well, Jack moves up to second. Sam moves up to fourth. So the two Red Bulls have shuffled down a place, and Atom is just lurking there in the background as well. He could be one to watch on the strategy. He'll be in a net race lead, you'd have thought, after one lap and undercut, if not the two. But yeah, it's looking good at the moment, isn't it, for a good race?
It's definitely shaping up to be a fantastic race. I mean, it's all going to be down to strategy, and to be honest, we're actually seeing some moves in this race as well. You're saying Atom's the one to watch. I still think Snipes could be the one to watch in this Grand Prix too. He's right on the back of Michael Dale, and Dale will not have the DRS on Atom up ahead as he's almost 2 seconds back. But crucially, that does mean that, when Atom pits, Snipes may follow him in, he may not. Although it looks as though Jacob's potentially going to line up a move down into Ravazza 1. He thought better of it, as I think he should, because he'll have the DRS coming out of Ravazza 2 and then onto the start-finish straight. So will Snipes, though, so I'm not sure if they'll swap around, but potentially we'll ride on board here with Snipes. Let's see if he can get to the back of Michael Dale. Less than half a second separates the two of them. DRS open. Go on, Darren, have you got something?
Well, Jack is taking the lead down the DRS straight on RMB4. I didn't think it was going to happen, but he made the move with the DRS. It shows how powerful the DRS is. Oh, my word. B4 then nearly takes out Welsh Jack down into the into the Villeneuve again, I could say. But yeah, Snipes was on the back of Michael Dale, wasn't quite able to make the move stick. Gibson 3-second time penalty on the back of this particular train. But Welsh Jack from third to first in the space of just over a lap. Good work done by him. But yeah, Snipes is looking close. There's movement at the front. The pit stops are upcoming, but they are so close on pace. I mean, we are 12 laps deep into this race, and the top 10 are split by 5.4 seconds. That's just how close they are on the pace. But we will keep an eye on Snipes and Beeford down this next DRS straight, because they will definitely be fast.
Yeah, those are going to be the ones to watch as we come down this straight once again. Michael Dale managed to hold off Snipes that last time round. I think out of the first Ravazza, he just got a little bit wiggly last time, and this time looks a lot cleaner. He's a lot closer. The gap only 4/10 as they make their way over the start-finish. So DRS going to be activated for him once again. Has he got the pace this time to make the move on that Ferrari? As we now make our way towards the technically turn 2, but it is almost feels like turn 1. But once again, Dale having the straight line speed over the Alpine there, and this is turning into a very tough fight for Snipes. He's really going to have to put the work in to get where he wants to be, and yeah, it's still shaping up to be a difficult afternoon for him.
Yeah, it's not going to be a stroll in the park, as it can't be in any race here in Div 1, because they are so close together in terms of pace. It is really difficult to make moves here, because it's just so tight in terms of the pace difference between these guys, which is fantastic to see, really, because it just provides us with some fantastic racing. But they have flipped around a couple of times. B Ford will hope to stay in front now, but with Welsh Jack so close, I mean, B Ford can afford to use a bit of that ERS down the straight, because he's got so much that there's no point just having a full battery, because the car will naturally gain some back. If you just sit with a full battery, you're using less ERS than you could. So you might as well use a little bit, because it'll go back to 100% by the time you get back round to the start. There's no point really sitting on 100%. But B Ford is going to, and Welsh Jack's going to slip through once again. But I can't help but feel that if he just uses, even if it's 10-15% down the straight, he can make that back up in a lap, but it means he might be able to stay ahead lap after lap.
Oh, and Snipes has managed to get past Dale, and Jacob follows him through. Dale losing 2 positions in basically a corner. So Snipes now made his way up to 7th. He can go chasing after Atom, the other guy on that medium compound tyre. The gap only 1.8 seconds, so it's definitely doable. And Jacob managed to find his way through past Michael Dale as well. I was about to applaud Michael Dale for defending, but at the same time he was sort of able to catch a little bit to the train up ahead. So he was actually doing a pretty good job. But I don't know quite how it all unfolded, but he's found himself down now in 9th and actually looking to be under threat from Gibson in that McLaren behind him. Gibson going, oh, he's cut the corner and then he's gone absolutely mega wide out of it as well. So that's definitely going to be a warning for Gibson there. But I think ultimately that gave him the pace to really stick onto the back of Michael Dale. And it's going to be interesting to see if he can now make a move past him. And that will drop Dale back into 10th. As Snipes, as Atom comes in. Atom's come in. I'm sorry, Dara.
Atom's come in. Beefwood, no, it's fine. Atom's come in. Beefwood's gone past World Track, but I was going to mention, it's quite a lot darker, hasn't it? I don't know if there's maybe some rain in the air, because it has a lot darker. Atom's pit for hard, so I can't imagine that there is, because he wouldn't have come into the pit lane to put on some hards. Oh, Beefwood has a massive moment through Villeneuve, but I wouldn't have thought he'd have come in to put some hards on if he thought it was about to start raining, but you can just see how far out behind he's going to come. If you think that he was in this front train, he is miles behind the pack. But if he has a good outlap here, good first lap maybe, he could be in the net lead of this race.
He could be. This is the crossover. I say the crossover. This is the halfway point, pretty much, of this Grand Prix. So yeah, is he going to be the man to trigger the others to come in? I think Snipes could also potentially come in at the end of this lap. He's well amongst the guys there at the front, as they all are. They're so close to one another, as you mentioned earlier, that it's very difficult to break away and actually get a dominating advantage in this division, because they are so closely packed together. But I think, yeah, if Atom can nail this outlap, as it looks as though he has done, it was 24 seconds when they came out. It's now 23.7 to Gibson. I'm just going off the gap to Gibson there. Coming down all the time, that gap is. So I think by the time we get the pit stops for the hard runners, as a couple of them have come in. So here we go. We can find out right now, because Dan's just come into the pits. Who else has come in? Is that Jacob's come in and Gibson has come in. Gibson not really sort of target here, but Atom down the start finish straight. Where are they going to come out? Oh, this is going to be interesting.
He's going to have him, surely. Yes, he will.
Yes,
down
he
into
is.
turn 1. And Atom's got Dan. With the rest staying out, Atom surely now net race leader. Nada retires in the pit lane, but it's an early pit stop from the guys on the hard tyre. Maybe what we could have expected. Dan won't like being behind Atom though, because he's going to be caught up a little bit on that medium tyre. Should be a faster tyre at the moment, but we will wait and see, because I'm sure the top 5 will probably come in on this lap. Michael Dale now a little bit isolated on his own. He's the only one of that second train not to have come into the pit lane, but B Ford surely will come in this time around, just cover off everybody else. Or maybe he'll react the lap after, knowing that he can get back past with an ERS. No, he's coming in. So is Welsh Jack, so is Torpedo, and so is SLR Sounds. It's going to be a race on the pit lane just to see who comes out first. Because B4 does the first, well no, it's not going to be B4, Torpedo does the first pit box, but they'll all get out and in without tripping over each other by rights, and B4's out. There comes Tornado, then comes Welsh Jack. So they should all be in the order that they went in.
Atom now coming out of Ravazza 2, Dara. He's on the start-finish straight. This is going to be close.
Let's see. I think he's going to have everyone.
I say that. There goes Dan.
Here comes Dan. Yeah, there goes Dan. B4's come out in the lead here, and Welsh Jack has got Dan and Atom between him and B4. That could be important. Snipes is now on the back. Torpedo, he's joined the lead train. So the undercut has worked out for him, but he's on that hard tyre. He may feel the pain from that. Michael Dale staying out maybe for a ghost of a safety car, but I don't think he's going to find one of them anytime soon. But this train now, just over 4 seconds between 2nd and 10th here.
Yeah, it's definitely close, and what a master stroke of strategy there from Atom. And you've got to admit, Snipes as well. I mean, he hasn't gained or lost anything, but you know, potentially towards the end of the Grand Prix, they've all pitted on roughly the same lap, the medium and hard runners. So when you get towards the end of it, the hard, you would imagine, will have the advantage over those medium compound tyres. So Snipes could still be playing the long game here when you think about it, but Atom absolutely made the right call when he did. And what did we say at the start of this before we even got going under green, Darrell? We said it's going to be done on the pits. It's going to be the man who gets onto the right tyre at the right time. And I have to say right now, it looks as though Atom is that man, but it also looks as though he could be a bit of a cork in the bottle. He's dropped off the guys here in second and third as Dan's now making a move for the lead here on B Ford. DRS activated, up the inside, got it done before they even got to the braking zone. But I did notice that Jack also managed to get past, and so did Torpedo. Both of them got past Atom there on one straight. And Atom now finds himself down in sixth.
Yeah, but he has got Welsh Jack behind him. That might be a little bit of a comfort for him because, of course, Welsh Jack is on the same strategy as him. So should be feeling the same effect, one would hope. But anyway, 18 laps or 17 laps gone in this race, 14 and a half or so more to go. And it's going to be interesting just to see when Michael Dale Pitt's got to come into the pit lane soon. I mean, he's only just ribboning his race by staying out this long, you'd have to say. But, you know, Dan is in the lead, net race lead, but with that time penalty, before Welsh Jack and Atom at the moment would find themselves on the podium. If Snipes can get past Atom, he'd find himself on the podium.
Michael
That is
Dale
how
in the
important
pit
having
now.
the penalty is.
Dara, he's in.
Yeah, he's in, but not sure how much that'll do really for him because I don't think he's going to be anywhere near anybody. He's just going to really feel the pain. Really feel the pain for staying out that long. Welsh Jack fastest lap, and B4 will now retake the race lead now. Of course, official because Michael Daly's in the pit lane. Welsh Jack as well, maybe looking for it on Dan, but not going for it in the end. Snipes and Gibson now really close back. JW Gibson now in a good position in this race. This last Sam is just behind him. But Gibson's in a good position on that medium tyre, albeit with that penalty and no ERS. But with the two hard runners in front of him, he can somehow clear those two. He could try and get up towards the top four here.
Yeah, he could, but like you say, it is. I think a lot of this is going to come down to who's got what penalty by the end of it. So he can get ahead of the two guys in front. Great, fantastic for him, but he has got that penalty looming over his head. So even if he does finish just ahead of them on the road, it's not going to mean much by the end of it because he'll have that penalty. So he'll just drop right back down once again. But Snipes looking to get past Atom. He's within a couple of tenths, and he has been pretty much for the entire lap, making their way through the chicane at the top of the track and now down towards Ravazza 1. And I wonder, is he, I'm just looking at him, doesn't have the DRS from the guy ahead, so he could be a bit of a sitting duck here from Snipes in the Alpine. 3 tenths is the gap, so he's definitely going to be close enough. DRS now activated. I think he's going to have this move nicely sewn up before they even get to the braking zone looking at it. Yes, he does.
And Welsh Jack has Dan as well. So Beeford and Welsh Jack are now 1 and 2 without the penalties. As I think Gibson and Sam were fighting out as well. And Gibson, Sam will now come
coming
down
back
the outside. Or inside, sorry, of Villeneuve. And he will get through and up into P7 here. So Gibson.
Oh, Gibson's going for it.
Maybe ascend into Toza. He's gone for it. He's on the inside curve, but on the exit. Oh, a bit of a wheel bang between the two of them, but SLR Sam is now through and up into P7. FGE Jacob will be the next driver to try and come through on him, and Michael Dale is 5 seconds off these guys. It's just painful for him, surely, just to be trundling around on his own. But the race at the moment is going to be between whether one of the Red Bulls gets a podium or if one of the drivers on the hards can.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Lap 20 now of 32, so still quite a way to go. 12 laps left, at least. So it will be interesting to see how these strategies that everyone has gone for has played out. As you were saying there, watching on with Gibson and Jacob before, that all started into the first corner down at Tamburello, and they were pretty much side by side all the way through Villeneuve and then Tosa. So that was interesting to watch last time by, but Welsh Jack, within a couple of attempts there of Beeford, unable to make the move this time. As I look a bit further back, they've all made their way through Tamburello, so no changes this lap, as Gibson there picks up, I think that's his second penalty of the evening, so that'll be 6 seconds he has to contend with now.
Yeah, it's not the ideal amount, is it? You really want 0, and the man that me and you both know that would have 0 seconds for time penalty right now is Mr. Z Nausea, because he never picked up a 3-second, I swear. He always.
And there's Jack, that's crucial. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
That's crucial.
No,
Jack
that's
picking
fine.
up 3
that's
seconds.
Fine. No, very good point. I'm going to have a quick look actually at the race director to see B Ford's warnings, of which he has none. That could be massive. B Ford, if he goes penalty free, surely has won this race.
You would like to think so, wouldn't you? But it also gives him that, comfort as well, that if he needs to, he can run it a little bit wide in one corner to keep that advantage potentially somewhere. So it's nice to have that almost in the bag. It's almost like you've got 2 get out of jail free cards sitting in your back pocket. But who is in Atom's back pocket no longer is SLR Sam. He's made the move down the start-finish straight up to 6th. Potentially going to go round Snipes into Tamburello. He looked at it. I think Snipes slammed the door, pretty much shut on him, but it's not over yet. They're now making their way towards the Villeneuve chicane. And I think Sam's done it. He's managed to get through on Snipes, and Snipes now could be potentially a little bit under threat from Atom behind. Had to deviate from the normal racing line, but what a couple of moves there by SLR Sam. Fantastic racing from him. He makes his way up to P5 now.
I think it's actually probably good for Snipes that he's behind Sam, because he can try and use him for a bit of DRS at the moment. Of course, the mediums at the moment should by rights be faster if Sam does pick up another time penalty. But actually, maybe not, because he's not really gaining away from Snipes on this lap. But, I mean, it might be helpful because Sam is gaining a little bit on the cars in front, so he might be able to gain to the back a little bit. But, we will see if that works out for him. But either way, there'll be 10 laps to go when they finish this one, and B-Ford still does lead this race at Welsh Jack Dan and Torpedo. I don't want to call it yet, but I think B-Ford, if he goes penalty free, should have this in the bag. Yeah, he does. Come straight through. No harm done. No difficulty for him on the DRS, and he's up into P1. But if B-Ford can win this race, that could be massive in the championship.
It's not a could, it's more of a it will, because it will be a massive thing for him in this championship. 25 points in the bag. When looking at it, Snipes is, I'm not sure how the point system works here, I can never remember, because you've got the MotoGP style, but Snipes definitely not picking up as many as B-Ford, and the gap currently 8 points between the two, so B-Ford absolutely will be laughing after this, thinking I think he'll go championship lead into the next race at Miami. So he's looking good, and he's done everything right this weekend so far. And well, it looks as though he could even open up a gap back to the Red Bull there. It's dropped almost to 1 second. I think FRT Dan just maintaining it just under. That's crucial for him there to keep the battle alive and fighting. And you mentioned earlier Sam was looking a bit quicker. It doesn't look as though he's much quicker anymore. The gap sort of stabilised around that 2.2, 2.1 time frame. So I don't think he's made much more inroads, but it looks as though Snipes is sort of struggling to hold on to him anyway. As B-Ford then potentially looking back, making the move for the lead. He does into Tamburello, and he will be P1 once again.
I would love to know how many lead changes we've had in this race, because it's got to be 10, 15 already. It's been fantastic to see them swapping around lap after lap. Michael Dale's retired. That's a crash. That's a safety car.
And this will change everything then, won't it? Oh, fantastic.
Well, I mean, I think people will come into the pit lane here.
Well, they definitely will. I think the smart thing really here for everybody is to just come in, put on a fresh set of softs, because you're going to be going to the end come what may. But what this will do is obviously not that the pack needs bunching back up, but everyone will be set to 0 if you like, because they'll all have the same age of tyre. The one thing that I'm looking at is which one of these Red Bulls is going to lose out. I know which one it's going to be. It's going to be Torpedo. He's going to miss out big time on this, but as you can see, look at the gap. It's gone from 2 to 4 in the space of a corner, and I have to say, I'm not sure on your rulings here too much for GRL, but it's very obvious what he's done right there, isn't it? Yeah, I'll say that. He's closed it back
Yeah,
up
he's
a bit
backing it
now.
up a bit. Everyone is coming in indeed. But if anything, I think Torpedo's going to lose out more from doing that. Only because he will then have to wait longer. Thankfully, no one has to wait to go into their pit box, come out of the pit box for him. But he will definitely lose out. B4's Welsh Jack will come out 1 and 2, but we'll have to see how they go through. Gibson has stayed out. That is going to cause a bit of chaos. Dan has hit for a medium.
Actually, that could be the smart thing, the medium. Well, there you go then. This is
No,
definitely
I
shaking
don't think
things
it
up.
is. I think the soft is definitely the right tyre because when they get restarted again, which will not be this lap or the next lap, so they will they'll restart at the end of next lap, I think. So that'll mean there's only 6 laps left in this race.
Well, I tell you who
I
definitely
think
lost
the
out
soft's
there
the
as
way to
well.
go.
Yeah, you could be right. It's a tough one, that, because if you go for the medium, you've got that longevity, and I think by the time you get to that final lap or two, the medium could have that advantage, but I'd say the outright pace at the beginning from the soft tyre, I think that advantage kind of becomes null and void. So, you know what, Darrell, I think you could be right. I think I said the soft tyre was the call to begin with. It was my gut feeling. I think I should have just stuck with my gut feeling. I thought about it too much after a while, but I do want to say, I think obviously Torpedo missing out on a couple of positions there. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be, so that's good news for him. But I did notice that Jacob got held up by his teammate a little bit of Sam. So he's now found his way in P9. I don't think that's changed his position too much now that I think about it, but he might have lost one. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think he fell down a couple there because Sam was in the front training. Wasn't Jacob at the front of the second train? Or am I going? No, I'm being silly.
I think you're
Yeah,
being
I'm being
silly.
silly. No, you're right. Yeah, I think he's just dropped down 1 or 2 positions. But Sedgar's still out this lap. Should come in end of next. And does come in this lap, which means that we should avoid a melee. But maybe he's going for a soft now, thinking that he'll have the freshest softs of anybody. And he's not lost any positions because he was P9 anyway.
Yeah, that's definitely what he's going to be doing. There goes the soft onto that McLaren. Nice, easy pit stop. I say that. Oh no, it was a bit of lag. I do apologise.
Lag.
Yeah, he's back out and underway once again. I would love to think about it, whether you could get the option to put in mistakes into pit stops for league racing, just to add that little bit of spice and extra variety to it. But then at the same time, it then becomes unfair again. But sometimes life is unfair, and that's what makes these championships very interesting in real life. You get the human error, the highs and the lows. So, and you win as a team, you lose as a team, kind of thing. But I do always think it would be interesting to put pit stop errors into league racing. I wonder how that would go down. Probably not very well, but that's where my head's at right then.
Yeah, I think if someone loses a championship because they had a slow pit stop because the game just said, get a slow pit stop every now and again, and they had one. I don't think they'd be very happy.
No,
that's for sure. But Zedgar hopefully should be in this lap. Is it? Oh, it will be when Gibson catches to the back of the field.
Well, they've gone past. There it is.
Yeah, because it should have come in. Should have said at the middle sector line, but because Gibson wasn't quite at the back of the field. They hadn't said yet, but we will be getting going. B Ford has got a medium tyre on her between himself and Welsh Jack. Welsh Jack is going to have to get through on Dan very, very quickly. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
B Ford backing them up. Dan is going to be trying to get a good jump, but I think if you go out of the final corner, B Ford can try and just optimise his exit here, and does. He goes there in the final corner of Atsa 2. Relatively well judged by Dan, actually. And Dan actually might have a chance down into turn 1. Welsh Jack is the one who really didn't see that one coming, and he's in the pressure from SLR Sam because they run towards turn 1. It's Sam to the outside line at turn 1. He's not going to be able to find a space there. No. And they are as they were through the first corner, but Beeford needs to scamper away on that soft tyre. He hasn't got a penalty, but he could really help him out if he just runs away.
I tell you what, I'm looking at Atom being overtaken by Jacob. He loves going for a little. He's round. There's contact. Atom has spun. There was contact between him and Jacob, and I was about to say Jacob loves going for a little move there into the Villeneuve chicane, and I do have to think. I think that could just be a bit of a racing incident. They were side by side. It is rather tight through that chicane, but from the vantage point I was looking at, I don't think Jacob really did anything wrong there. I think it was just an unfortunate coming together. So, be interesting to see how the stewards review that for after the race. But from looking at it right now, I think we just got a racing incident. But that's crucial for Atom. That puts him down to the back and on his own. So I think that is pretty much his race scuppered and done for this evening. But hopefully he won't leave, as Gibson looking to go up the inside of Jacob there into Ravazza 1. I think he might have put him a little bit offline, so I wonder, has he now got the benefit of that going down the main start-finish straight? But I think more crucially, has he got the speed? It looks as though he might do. DRS not activated just yet after the safety car. He's going to go round the outside of Jacob into Tamburello. There's a little bit of wheel rubbing, but that's just hard racing, and he got the move done. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I think Jacob might say that he forced him off the track, but Gibson will say that he had entitlement to the corner, but I'm sure that one will end up in the steward's room. Either way, well, Jack got through on FRT down the straight without the use of DRS and is really keen to get through on B-Ford here. B-Ford knows he's not got a penalty. He knows that Welsh Jack is going to lose 3 seconds on the net race time, but just to be safe, you would definitely want to stay ahead on track and win it on track, because then no one can take it away from you, because he's not been involved in the incident, so there's absolutely nothing that could happen where he loses the race. But either way, he still leads, but the train is still tight. The top 8 really close together. Snipes is still on for P2 at the moment. If Snipes can come home in P2, he still leads the championship.
He does, and that would be some drive from him as well. You know, just sticking with it, not picking up those penalties, unlike the guys ahead of them, and just through simply, running a fairly, innocuous race. As Welsh Jack there takes the lead once again back from B-Ford. DRS activated, obviously making it nice and easy for him. But yeah, if Snipes can just sort of, keep to the guys ahead, and he comes home in P2, that keeps this championship, firmly going either way. There'd be 1 point separating them, wouldn't there? Or is it maybe 3 or something? I can't quite remember how many you get for P2. I think, is it 20? So what would that? It'll put the gap to 3 points then, and Snipes would still be ahead by 3 points, so he'll still be P1, but God, it'll bring them close together, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, Welsh Jack currently has the fastest lap as well, but don't count out B-Ford from getting that fastest lap if he overtakes with DRS and can try and use some of the DRS to get away. But we'll have to wait and see, because that is a point that gets given as well. Welsh Jack is just doing everything he can to try and keep his title hopes alive. They are slim, but they are still existent. He is the only other driver after this race who will be able to win the title apart from Snipes and B-Ford. So he'll be doing his best, and he has done a very good job to put 8 tenths between himself and B-Ford on this lap. But B-Ford with the DRS and a bit of ERS will close that gap right back up, and it'll be all of about 3 tenths when they get to the braking zone. And indeed, 2.5 is what it was when they got to the braking zone. And on the exit, it's just over 3. So it's very, very close. The FRT Dan also wants to get through, but B-Ford knows that if he can just stay in second, use the DRS for the last couple of laps, he will take the win here. And that is exactly what he needs to do to keep his title chances alive and make it really close for the final couple of races.
Yeah, that's what he'll want to do. I'm just noticing and picking up on the fact that Atom has just slowly been dropping back lap after lap. It's only little bits, but it keeps adding up. 2 laps to go, and he's obviously had that incident, and he's now 11 seconds, well, nearly 12 seconds off, but just shows the power of that DRS and being in the train of the guys ahead. How much quicker you are a lap round here, and when you do get that cleaner air, unlike real life where you want the clean air that you can go quicker, this is the complete opposite effect. You go slower if you're on your own. So just highlighting there that in sim racing it's not always the same as real life, but it's in some aspects it's more thrilling and entertaining, and then in others it just changes the dynamics of things somewhat. But the guys all up in this train are within a couple of tenths of each other. Then you do have that DRS train effect, which is what we're pretty much seeing now. And I don't think there's going to be any changes on this lap, because they've all got it. They've all got that DRS to help them along.
Yeah, they do. They do all have this DRS, and they are still continuing on. But there's only going to be one more DRS straight to come. Is that Dan making the move down the inside? It's him going for it on B4. B4 just says, "Okay, mate, I'm not going to fight you too hard. I'm going to get you on the penalties either way. Let's have a quick look at the penalties. It's 3 and 3 for Dan, 6 for Sam, 3 for Torpedo. But it's still actually on. At the moment, we are going to be looking at, if it was to finish this way, a podium of B, Ford, Snipes, and Jacob, because they haven't picked up penalties. And that would be incredible. I mean, I mentioned it that if you keep penalty free, you might get a podium. I didn't necessarily think that all three, I mean, the three drivers would finish on the track, third, sixth, and seventh.
It's unheard of almost. You know, again, real life racing, this would never happen. But you know, this isn't real life racing. This is sim racing. It's a very different kettle of fish. So you're quite right. The guys without the penalties, although they're currently sitting P3, 6 and 7 on the road, by the end of it, that could be our podium right there. So if they can keep it clean, keep it together, they'll be very happy, the three of them, I think. But crucially, what that does then mean is, you know, B4 will close up the gap to the guys ahead. As I was just watching, riding on board there, he's side by side with
Dan.
Oh, what's happened?
Dan's gone off. Yeah, Dan went off the track there fighting. Sam, Beeford, and Jack have gone through. I didn't exactly see what happened there, but they were side by side through the opening corner. Oh my word, they run through now. Dan's not going to be too pleased about that, but he found himself back in the train. Snipes and Jacob still really close together. It's actually tightened the group up, if anything. 7 drivers, 1.9 seconds. That is it as they come through Piratella for the final time. Welsh Jack still leads. Beeford, though, surely is on hand to take what will be a victory here in Imola. Snipes an unlikely second, and Jacob an even more unlikely P3. But as they run through the Variante Alta for the final time, it is Welsh Jack who has a good exit, but Beeford using up the rest of his ERS juice, gaining down towards Ramazza 1. He won't want to make the overtake here. Or Willie, he's going to go for it actually down the inside. He wants to win on track. He's got to be careful. He doesn't want to lose the win here, and he won't do so. But will he get a good enough exit on the run towards the line? Welsh Jack should win this one on track. He's going to be mighty close to the line. Through comes Sam as well, as they go 3 wide across the line. But in the end, the podium places are Beeford, Snipes, and Jacob. What a race that was.
Oh my word, what an end to that Grand Prix that was. They were separated by nothing. You could barely fit a feather between each of them. That was absolutely fantastic and thrilling to watch nonetheless as well. But crucially, Snipes, where did he start on the grid? Well, after lap 1, I think he was down in 11th. And look at that, he's managed to finish second on the grid. Well, not on the grid, but second at the overall standing. So, what a race from him. That's fantastic.
Yeah, what a result in the end. Beeford. I don't think he'll be too pleased to see Snipes in P2 of anybody else, but he wins the Snipes to his credit. He didn't run in the podium places all race long, well, at least in the net positions, but he's picked up P2 because he hasn't got a penalty. And that is so important in races like this. In the end, Welsh Jack, because Dan had 6 seconds there. If we work it out, the gap between Welsh Jack, so literally they came across the line. Beef for Welsh Jack and Sam separated by less than a tenth across the line. That is absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to see if they can get to the party. My PC isn't working for some reason, which is so worrying because I'm screaming off of it. But either way, I will try and message on my phone to see if Snipes is going to join the party for an interview, because I think he has some mic issues, or he has had in the past. But let's see. Division 1 track is what I'm looking for.
That was insane to watch. I will point out, though, that both Beeford and Snipes then actually do pull away from Welsh Jack after that Grand Prix. So I think mathematically it's still possible for him, but in actuality, I think that's his chances of a championship gone there. So it will be coming down to the wire, quite literally. 3 points separating them. Snipes for Alpine and Beeford. I think am I right in saying he's the reigning champ? Beeford for the Mercedes.
He is the reigning champion.
There you go.
That much is true. But yeah, that is very true. I am trying to invite ROM Beeford to a party, and who came P3 in the end? It was
Jacob. It was
Jacob, wasn't it?
Jacob, and I think he put on quite a good
show. Gamer card. Invite him to a party as well. We'll have to have a quick peek to see if Snipes has got
Has he got anything?
I can't do that. But well done. Right, so we'll give. Oh, there he is. Jacob's in. Jacob, good evening, sir. Um, well done. I mean, again, you because Simon hasn't got a mic, so but I'd say the same thing to him. You didn't run in the top three really at all in that race, but you didn't have a penalty, so that's helped you no end. And in a group so close together, not having a penalty can gain you loads of positions. In your case, it was 4 or 5, wasn't it? So congratulations. How was that race for you?
Stressful.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like I was on 2 warnings from like lap 5, so I was just sitting in the train. I knew everybody else had penalties, so just chilling. I tried to get sniped at the end, but his exit off the last corner was unreal.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it at the front as well. We'll come to that in a minute with Ford. There were 3 wide across the line, so there were some very good exits and some very close racing up to the line. But again, I mean, a podium, if it wasn't for the penalties, you'd probably be looking at P6, P7, just generally throughout the race. But in the end, the podium, you've got to be pleased with that one in the end.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I haven't looked back at Atom spinning into me, but I don't think he's very happy with me. But
Oh
yeah,
no, I saw. I
we'll
think
see.
didn't we say Ashley that we thought it looked like a racing incident from our
Yeah,
angle.
I was riding on board with you at the time, and I tell you what, credit to you because you seem to love the Villeneuve chicane in that race. I saw you making a good few moves into that corner, so it just looked to be another Jacob classic into the Villeneuve, really. And just from the look of it, from our point of view, it did just look like a racing incident. But what was it into that corner that you kept going for the moves? Was it tactical to do it there, or was it just opportunities arose at that point?
Well, it was pretty tactical because generally speaking, I had an advantage because I was on way lower wing, and then they go defensive into turn 1, and then you just get switched back. And then once you're on the inside, there's not really a great deal they can do.
Yeah, so it's almost like a block pass every time, and obviously then the way the
Yeah,
circuit, flows from there, you've got the move done, and they then can't get back at you. So no, if it was tactical, then my hat off to you, sir, because that was some brilliant racing from you into that sort of section of the circuit. So yeah, well done.
thank you.
But yeah, I mean, well done in the end. P3, definitely a fantastic result for you. Of course, Snipes isn't here, so he picked up P2. And on that, Ford, the one person that you would have wanted to have gained least from all of the penalties is Snipes. But you won the race. You should go into Miami 3 points behind in the championship. You drive excellently, Steve. You've got to be pleased with how that went.
Yeah, I was happy with qualifying. I was happy with the race. And once Welsh Jack got his 3 seconds, I was just calm. I just didn't really. It was probably the least stressful race I've had in a very long time. I'll say that, but that's probably because the numbers weren't amazingly high. But no, it's a decent race. Not much racing because of just DRS passes, but I went for the last lap because I saw nothing was going to change, so I just went for it, trying to win it on track. But I didn't try too hard just in case. But yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, I was worried for a moment that you may have sent it into Ravatsa and then maybe you got spun around and it would have been absolute curtains. But in the end, great result. I mean, I just in recent weeks, just generally, your qualifying has really, really improved. Because, of course,
Oh, last
last
week.
season, I wasn't here last week, so I was there. We'll forget about that. But I mean, last season, I mean, of course, you are the reigning champion. Season 3, you didn't qualify particularly well. You always had to come through the field. It took you an age to get a podium, but you kept getting third, fourth, fifth. Your rating has always been there, but your qualifying has come on so much, and that has really helped you this season, um, especially when you came up against people like Snipes. But believe it or not, it's only your second win of the season, this race. Of course, it's one of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's your 10th podium. Shows how consistent you have been. You've had, along with that, 4 fourths. So that's 14 top fours in, I believe, 19 races. So an incredible effort. And are you confident going to the last 3 races of the title?
Yeah, of course I did it. I did it last season. It's very similar to last season. The fact, I mean, it's not 3 people, but it's still the same thing. Close on points. 2 drivers closely matched in pace. I think Miami, I'm quite confident at. Abu Dhabi's a bit of an unknown. I haven't done that all too much, but I'm usually quite decent there, but meant to be seen. And Brazil is Brazil. Everyone's good at Brazil, so it'll be interesting. I mean, I'm always confident. Also, there's a sprint as well, which has some points, so it'll be interesting. It depends if numbers are high, it'll make it even more tense because I think obviously missed Mark Souza. I can't remember anyone else now, but there's a lot
Blade.
of quick people. Blade. There's a lot of people that aren't actually racing at the moment, so if they're racing, it'd be a lot more tense, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. But I mean, again, the quality of drivers that we've got at the moment, just generally, I mean, we only had 13 tonight, and realistically, we had 10, 11 for most of the race. But the quality drive was so high that, there were times where I think lap 15, before the pit stops really kicked off, top
No,
10 was by.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I didn't
No, I
mean
was
to
going
sorry.
to say 4.9 seconds. So I mean, there haven't been many, but it's at least been close, which has been refreshing. Because some leagues you get, they'll have 10 drivers, and within 3 laps, there's no one than DRS.
I mean, ultimately, the people that race today are most of the people that actually finish the race. There's no disrespect to anyone because some people just have bad luck or just can't race. But like overall, it probably wouldn't have been too much different if there was a full grid. But who knows?
Absolutely. But yeah, congratulations either way. Good win for you and important for the championship. And again, well done to Jacob for that P3 that at times definitely didn't seem on the cards. But safety car helped gain you back up to the group. And then you got the podium. So well done. My thanks to Ashley for joining me this evening. It's been a pleasure. We will be back next week for the Miami Grand Prix. That's the 4th of December. It is the final sprint race of the season. You don't want to miss that one. It could be important for the championship, as all 3 of the final races will be. But for now, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you when GRL returns next week in Miami.